Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell to check out Fireside Yankees on all of your favorite social media platforms. We have an Instagram, a TikTok, a Twitter, a Facebook, and of course this YouTube page, again all under the handle at Fireside Yankees. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. Let's start with outfielder Trent Grisham, who had a career year at the plate, putting up 34 home runs with an .811 OPS. The Yankees got a surprising amount of production from Trent Grisham, who was clutch during the regular season and displayed an ability to combine good contact with excellent game power. He pulls a lot of baseballs in the air to right field, and that played extremely well at Yankee Stadium. While he did have struggles hitting left-handed pitching throughout the season, the underlying metrics suggest that Grisham should be able to handle lefty. The Yankees were hoping for quality fourth outfield production, but Grisham ended up becoming their starting center fielder, with Bellinger ending up in left field. Unfortunately for Grisham, I don't believe that the Yankees are going to have any interest in bringing him back this winter. His declining defense in center field is a real red flag. He put up -11 defensive runs saved this season with -3 fielding run value, by far the worst marks of his career. His sprint speed is down as well, going from a solid base runner to someone who's not going to be able to steal many bases or provide any impact on the bases. He had a -3.0 base running value on Fangraphs, which is again the worst mark of his career. I think the Yankees will be happy with the year of production they got from him this past season and let him hit free agency and become a member of somebody else's club. He can still play center field, but I don't think it's at a level where the Yankees are comfortable putting him out there for multiple years. Furthermore, it's possible that this season is an outlier in his career. Grisham has never been anywhere close to this good before in the power department, and it's reasonable to expect a massive regression offensively. I also don't think that 7-game sample size in the postseason helps his case here. The fact that he was a complete zero in that environment isn't going to do him any favors. Not to say that the Yankees had interest in bringing him back before the postseason, but I think if he had a better postseason and if the Yankees went on a run, that maybe it would have at least given the Yankees a little more thought here. I think at this point in time, both the organization and the fan base has moved on from Trent Grisham, and I hope he ends up signing a pretty wealthy contract somewhere else. The question now becomes whether the Yankees are going to extend the 1-year qualifying offer to Grisham and make it so that another team is going to have to give up a draft pick and the Yankees are going to gain a draft pick if he signs elsewhere. It also gives the Yankees a situation where Grisham's market could be significantly reduced and make it easier for the Yankees to bring him back on a cheap deal and give themselves some more outfield support. Because one of these outcomes include him coming back, I'm going to assume the Yankees won't offer him the qualifying offer, even though I think there's a compelling case to do so. It'll be interesting to see which teams end up bidding for Trent Grisham and where he ends up this winter, and I'm wishing the best for Big Sleep. Next up is Jonathan Loaisiga, who's one of the longest tenured players on the roster, being on this team since 2018. Loaisiga ended the season on the injured list with a right flexor strain, and it wasn't a very good year for Loaisiga in the first place. He had a 4.25 ERA, a 5.83 FIP, and a career-high 2.12 home runs per 9. A big reason for his regression seems to be that he went from a 113 Stuff Plus to a 114, which is the lowest mark of his career. Stuff Plus is a metric that essentially allows you to grade how good your pitches are, and what Stuff Plus is telling us here is that Jonathan Loaisiga's pitch repertoire and his pitch mix were the worst that it's ever been in his career. His -0.49 win probability added meant that Loaisiga was a net negative not just in statistics, but in actual impact as well. Loaisiga just didn't look like himself, and I think after this right flexor strain, which comes right after season-ending elbow surgery in 2024, it's fair to say that he may never be the same pitcher again. He does have a $5 million club option, and perhaps that's cheap enough to make the Yankees enticed enough, but I just don't think he's worth the roster spot at this point, and I think the Yankees will take those $5 million, pocket it, and maybe invest it somewhere else alongside some of the other money that's coming off the books. Loaisiga had a pretty good career at the Yankees. He posted a career 3.54 ERA across 193 appearances, and in the postseason had a 3.60 ERA in 13 appearances. But at the end of the day, you just kind of know when to give up, and at this point, the Yankees are going to give up on Jonathan Loaisiga and look to find some other potentially risky bullpen depth that comes with a little more upside than Loaisiga does at this point in time. Up next, we have the future Hall of Famer Paul Goldschmidt, who had a solid but not great season with the Yankees. His 103 WRC plus was just 3 percentage points better than his 2024 numbers, but he ended up being a pretty awesome platoon bat once the Yankees figured out that Ben Wright should be the primary first baseman. Goldschmidt is someone who I think will keep playing baseball and will still have value in the league because he absolutely destroys left-handed pitching, but I'm not sure that he's going to return to play for the New York Yankees. I think he'll end up somewhere else. Maybe he goes back to Arizona. Maybe he goes back to St. Louis. Maybe he ends up on a different team, but at this point in time, I think the Yankees feel comfortable enough with Ben Rice and maybe going out and acquiring a more versatile right-handed bat who can play first base as well. Goldschmidt put up a ridiculous 981 OPS with a 336 average and a 570 slugging percentage against left-handed pitching this season, which again is going to keep him on the market and is going to have teams really interested in bringing him in as a bench piece. Goldschmidt, in my opinion, is a better defender than the defensive metrics show as well. This season, he put up -1 defensive runs saved and -3 outs above average, but his ability to scoop isn't really factored into all of these metrics, and I think that made him a very valuable defender in late inning situations. I liked Paul Goldschmidt's time here. I thought maybe the Yankees relied on him too much against right-handed pitching, but at the end of the day, he was a player who the Yankees signed for $12 million, and he provided them way more production than any Yankee first baseman did the year prior, so for that, I think it was a pretty solid signing. Nothing crazy, but it was solid. I enjoyed Goldschmidt's time here, and hopefully he can have a couple more years in the big leagues, being a productive big leaguer, and maybe ends up with a ring with another team at this point in his career, which is the only thing missing on his resume. Our penultimate choice is right-handed pitcher Luke Weaver, who looked like one of the Yankees' long-term bullpen pieces just a year earlier. Weaver put up a 3.62 ERA, which is a high increase from his 2.89 ERA from the year prior. His strikeout rate, swinging strike rate, and home run per 9 rate all worsened from last year as well, and I think the Yankees might be good on signing him at this point in time. He had a brutal postseason, having just 1 out recorded in 3 appearances, while allowing 5 runs, walking 2, and striking out none. The Yankees are going to find themselves in a situation with Weaver where I think some teams might have interest in signing him as a starter. I think that some teams might be willing to pay a little more money than the Yankees would for Weaver. The Yankees traditionally don't shell out a ton of cash for relievers, and while I'm not going to completely rule out a Luke Weaver return, I think at this point in time, I believe that they're not going to bring him back. I think that the usage in the postseason told you all you needed to know about how they felt about him. They felt like he was unreliable, he was someone they couldn't go to in big spots, and it showed in the postseason. His stuff being down is a concern as well, considering he's entering his age 32 season next year. And while I know he's a reliever and that it's possible that the hamstring injury knocked him out a little bit, that the 64 innings he threw this year were just a little bit of variance and a little bit of regression from last year, and that he's not as bad as the ERA shows, but I think the Yankees are going to look at maybe some cheaper options, maybe go through the trade market. I just think that Luke Weaver is a tough sell to bring back right now, and you could argue that the Yankees should bring back the next person I mentioned on this list instead. For my last choice, I have Devin Williams, who had a very, very weird year with the Yankees where he started out as enemy number 1 and then turned it around in late August and September to become arguably the most reliable pitcher on this team out of the bullpen. He had 4 scoreless appearances in the postseason. He was awesome down the stretch. He missed a ton of bats. The fastball changeup combination looked as good as advertised, but ultimately I think Williams will pitch elsewhere in 2026. It's not that I think it's a 100% chance that he's gone. If you had me bet on anybody to come back for 2026 on this list, I'd bet on Devin Williams because I think he's the guy the Yankees should have the most interest in retaining. He is an elite reliever. He's still one of the 10 best relievers in baseball, in my opinion. And I think at the end of the day, the Yankees are going to have a couple of things working against them that will lead to Williams leaving. Number 1, other teams can offer the closer job. The Yankees can't. David Bednar's in a walk year. I'd be stunned if he just took it well if the Yankees took his closer job and gave it to Williams to start the 2026 season, especially with how good Bednar was down the stretch. At the end of the day, guys want to get paid, and closers get paid more than middle inning relievers or even setup men do. In Devin Williams' case as well, you have to look at the fact that he is someone who's going to get interest from a lot of other teams in the league. The Dodgers would be interested, the Mets would be interested, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, it goes on and on and on. These top teams that have money are going to want Devin Williams as well, and some of these teams might be more willing to give him the closer job than the Yankees would at this point in time. If Devin Williams is looking to sign a 1-year deal, I believe being that team's closer is important to him and to his market value for the 2027 free agent class. If he signs a 4 or 5-year deal, maybe that's not as important, but are the Yankees going to pay Devin Williams for 4 to 5 years? Just like with the question of whether the Yankees are going to give Devin Williams the closer job, the question of whether the Yankees are going to give him 4 to 5 years is a question I'd answer with no. And so with all of these things in mind, I think Devin Williams does play for another team in 2026. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he ends up with the Yankees again because he was really awesome down this stretch, and I think that Bednar and Williams would be an unbelievably devastating combo. But if Devin Williams wants to be a closer, or if Devin Williams wants to secure a longer-term deal, I don't believe either opportunity will occur here with the Yankees, and for that reason, I think he'll play somewhere else.
Perfect.